There was a wound in the back observed at Bethesda, which was not seen in Dallas, and in fact it's about that wound that the autopsy doctor apparently called one of the Dallas doctors and said, "Did you make any wounds in the back?" And so that if you falsify the most important evidence in an investigation, you can mislead the investigative apparatus. You can completely derail it. That's what happened here. That's really far more believable than believing that all these men, these lawyers brought in from different areas of the country to chair the Warren Commission investigation were part of some kind of conspiracy. Well, they weren't. They may have had biases, they may have had preconceptions, but they weren't part of any plot.
I'm Ben Baldwin for Larry King.
These tape recordings show messages going from the plane, from officials on the plane to those on the East Coast dealing with setting up for an autopsy at Walter Reed Army Medical Center. Now, in light of the fact that there's two caskets, in light of that evidence, in light of the evidence that the body was not inside the casket after a certain point in time, it seems to me that that requires a total reinterpretation of that data. And specifically, I found handwritten notes made by Lyndon Johnson's personal secretary, Marie Famer. She was making notes on the plane during the flight on a typewriter, and as the plane came in for a landing, she removed the page from the typewriter and made handwritten notes, and the final entry says 5:58, arrive Andrews, body to Walter Reed. Now, I called up Mrs. Famer, I told her about this, I sent her a photostat of the notes, which I obtained, as a matter of fact, from the LBJ Library in Austin. She said it's her handwriting. I asked her, what she knows about it, and she said she really couldn't recall why she wrote it, but she like the agents in the autopsy, was just someone said it, so I wrote it down. So there's some evidence the body went to Walter Reed and that arrangements were being made for an autopsy, as I say on the radio, under guard. I don't know what it means, but it may be the place where the body was taken. The man who was the pilot of Air Force 2 and the chief engineer of Air Force 2, because that plane did take off just after Air Force 1 and flew practically in tandem with it back to Washington. Well, nothing was put aboard Air Force 2. I mean, I really questioned those guys hard because I thought maybe that was the plane that carried the body. Well, it didn't. I satisfied myself and it didn't. Going back to those radio transmissions, when the plane landed, there were transmissions to have a ramp put up on the starboard side of Air Force 1 in the forward galley area. There's a little door there.
On the other side of the plane.
That's right. It's not in the public view. And that really startled me. I was astounded by this because this implied possibly the body was on board Air Force 1. And I played this network tape and you're able to time it because it's a live recording of what happened when Air Force 1 landed. And I just was astounded to find that on the network tape within 90 seconds of Air Force 1's arrival, you can hear a helicopter taking off. I mean, there's something about it. It's clattering so loud that it drowns out the network announcer, who's a pool reporter, covering the arrival of Andrews. So a helicopter took off from right near Air Force 1 within moments of its arrival.
This is Duplex. This is Duplex. Arrangements have been made for a helicopter for the Bethesda Naval Medical Center. Over. Stand by, Jerry. I'll have to get Berkeley here. Okay. Air Force 1 is Duplex. Go ahead.
Air Force 1, Andrews. Duplex is on. Duplex is on, sir.
Duplex is on. This is Dr. Berkeley. What arrangements have been made regarding the reception of the President? Everyone aboard Air Force 1, with the exception of the body, will be choppered into the south ground. The body will be choppered to the Naval Medical Center at Bethesda. Over. The body will be choppered or will go by ambulance to the Naval Medical Center? Will be choppered. Will be choppered. The body is in a casket, you know, and it will have to be taken by ambulance and not by chopper. All right, I'll tell Captain Shepard that. This is General Clifton.
Yes, General Clifton.
No, we do not want a helicopter for Bethesda Medical Center. We do want a ambulance and a ground return from Andrews to Walter Reed. And we want the regular post-mortem that has to be done by law under guard performed at Walter Reed. Is that clear? Over.
That is clear, General Clifton. You want an ambulance and another limousine at Andrews, and you want the regular post-mortem by law done at Walter Reed.
That is correct.
An ambulance and a limousine at Andrews, and in regards to the post-mortem studies.
Now, Heath, would you kindly hold some arrangements already made? We'll have to clear that before we make any further.
In my investigation, I think the logical place to start is with those who had custody of the body. Now, Lee Harvey Oswald didn't have the body, the mob didn't have the body, Fidel Castro didn't have the body, the U.S. Secret Service had the body, and the buck stops there. A new investigation would have to start with the Secret Service to find out what they know about two caskets. And I think that if such an investigation were conducted, it's entirely possible that agents on the Secret Service know about the two casket business, and some of them are totally innocent, just like guys at Bethesda who know about two caskets and were told that night it was a security measure.
But if I carry your theory to a conclusion, it seems to me that you're saying that the Secret Service planned and executed and then covered up the assassination of John Kennedy.
No, what I am saying is that there have to be some rotten apples in the barrel there. There have to be some people in the Secret Service who know about the business of two caskets. We'd have to question them and find out how it happened that President Kennedy's body left Dallas in casket A, arrived at Bethesda in casket B. And there have to be some people on the Secret Service who know about this affair.
Duplex, this is Hutchman. I understand that you have arranged a very tight ambulance President Kennedy to Bethesda. Is this correct? Over.
Watchman, it has been arranged to helicopter the body to Bethesda. Over.
This is Watchman. That's okay if it isn't after dark. And what about the First Lady? Over.
Everybody else aboard. Arrangements have been made to helicopter into the south ground.
Are you sure that the helicopter operation will work is when we have a very heavy casket? Over.
According to witness, yes.
Don't take a chance on that. Also have a mortuary type ambulance stand by in case the helicopter doesn't work.
That's affirmative.
We need a ramp. A normal ramp was up at the front of the aircraft on the right-hand side, just behind the pilot's cabin in the galley. We are going to take the First Lady off by that route. Over. Do you understand?
I receive affirmative.
Right. Also, on the right rear. No, the left rear. Left rear of the aircraft where we usually dismount, debark. We may need a forklift rather than a ramp. There's such a thing that is too awkward. We may need a platform to walk out on and a forklift to put it on. Is that possible? Over. And the casket is in the rear compartment. And we suggest, because it is so heavy, that we have a forklift back there to remove the casket. But if this is too awkward, we can go along with a normal ramp. Several men. Over.
Affirmative, we will try for the forklift.
Right. Next item. Duplex. Next item. The press, according to Mrs. Johnson, press is to have its normal little fence at Andrews Field, and he is going there by helicopter to the White House. Over. On the right front, ramp for Mississippi. On the left rear, if possible, a forklift for the casket. And on the left front, here's the pilot. Normal ramp, normal pressure arrangement. Yes, over.
That on the left front. Yeah, I got that. Normal press ramp for President Johnson. On the left front.
What happened to President Kennedy was that he was murdered, his body was altered, and this is how phony medical and ballistic evidence was generated. I think that a story into the future will have to look back on this period to ask the following question: is there a connection between the subsequent escalation of the war in Vietnam and the murder of Kennedy in November '63?